All right, so now we're going to work on this section right here where we have the form and then we have the three, I guess, results underneath. So this here where it has the links and the short links and the copy button. So let's start on that. We're going to go under the last section here. We're going to call this the shorten section. Let's say section ID shorten. And this is actually going to have a class of relative and also bg-gray-100. And then let's do the shorten container. So for that, we're going to do a max width. This is going to be a little bit more narrow than the rest of the site. So we'll do a 4XL. So max width 4XL. We want it in the middle, so MX auto, and padding all around 6, and then space dash Y dash 6. All right, so that's our container. Next, we're going to do the form. So let's say form. I'm going to give this an ID of link form because we may add some validation after. So ID, then we'll have a bunch of classes here like relative. We're going to make it into flex and flex dash call because the form is going to have both an input and a button. And let's make it width full, so width 100. And padding we'll do 10, and then we're going to do a negative margin top 20. That's going to pull it up a little bit. And then let's do space Y 4, and the background we're going to do the dark violet. Okay, and then let's make it rounded, so rounded LG. And then on medium screens, it's going to be a flex row because we want the input and the button to be horizontal on medium screens and up. And then also on medium screens, we want to remove space. We want to do space Y0, and we want to add on the X items. So medium screens, space dash X dash 3. Now we don't need an action. It's not actually going anywhere. We're going to use JavaScript to stop the default action. So inside the form, let's have an input, and we're going to give this a class of flex1 because we want it to take up all the remaining space. We will have a button, but then this will take up the remaining space. And let's do padding 3 all the way around. We're going to do border dash 2 and rounded dash LG, and then the placeholder. So we can do placeholder dash yellow dash 500, and then on focus, so we want to say on focus we want no outline, so outline dash none. Now we could just make this a URL and have HTML5 do the validation, but I'm just going to keep it as text just so I can show you how we can add it on our own and actually add it to the website. So let's add a placeholder. We'll say placeholder and just say shorten a link here. And then I'm also going to add an ID of, let's say, link dash input. Okay. So if we save that, this is what it's going to look like. But we do need a button. So let's add that next. Right under the input, we're going to add a button, and let's give it a class of px10 and py3. We want the text to be white, and we're going to make the background cyan, and we'll do rounded large. And then on hover, let's make the background cyan light, and on focus we want to remove the outline. And then on medium screens, we're going to do padding Y2. And then the button will say shorten it. All right, so that's our form. Now we want to do the links underneath, which are going to look like this. So each one will be a flex container. Yeah, so we'll go right under the form. So the form ends right here, and then we're going to say link 1. Okay, so let's say flex, and let's do flex dash call, and then items dash center. Then we want to do justify. Let's do justify between. All right, so basically the remaining space we want to go between here. All right, so we get justify between. The width we want to go all the way across, so width full. Padding, we're going to do 6 all the way around. The background is going to be white. And then let's say rounded dash LG. And on medium screens, we want flex row. Okay, now as far as what we want to put in here, the first thing is going to be the regular link. So this right here, which we're going to put in a paragraph with a class of font bold and text dash center to begin with. The text color is going to be very dark violet. And then on medium screens and up, we want to align the text to the left. Okay, and then we'll just put the link in here. We'll use front-end mentor.io. All right, so let's take a look. Okay, so far so good. Next is going to be these two items, the shorten link and the copy, which is going to be wrapped in a flex box and then aligned next to each other. So let's add a div with a class of flex, and we want a flex call to begin with. We want to align them items center, and we're going to justify end because we want to push them all the way to the end. And then flex 1 because we want them to take up the remaining space. And then space between each item we'll do 4, and space between each item on Y we'll do 2. And on medium screens it's going to be a flex row. And then on medium screens we don't want any space on the Y items. Alright, so inside here we'll just do a font bold. And the text color is going to be cyan for the short link. And let me just grab that real quick. All right, so we'll paste that in there. And then outside of this div, we'll have the copy button. So let's say button, let's do padding 2, px8, text is going to be white, bg is going to be cyan, and rounded is going to be large. And then when we hover over it, oops, rounded large, and when we hover over it, we're going to want the opacity to change. So we'll say opacity 70, and then I also want to remove the outline on focus, which I wish it would just do automatically. Okay, and that's going to say copy. So let's check that out. Let's see, something is not right here. Something's not aligned correctly. So let's see. Look at this this right here. Yeah, right here. So I have an extra dash. So it looks good. Now we have 2 more of these. And the second one is the button is just a different color. And we have some different links. But let's just copy this link 1, which ends right here. So we'll grab that. Let's go right under it, paste it. That's 2, that's 3. Change this to link 3, change this to link 2. Whoops, not 4, 2. And as far as the link for the second one, it's going to be twitter.com/frontendmentor. And then for the short link, I mean, you can keep the same short link if you want, but I'm just going to replace it just to make it look more realistic. And then the button color for the second one, instead of being cyan, we're going to use dark violet. So let's change this to dark violet. All right, so if we save that and look at ours, it's going to look like that. Now these buttons aren't rounded, and I wanted them to be, and the reason is this right here. We want to, why did I do this? Hover, yeah, we don't want a colon here, we want a space. So make sure if you did that, just make sure you fix that on all of these. Let's see this one too. All right, save that. There we go. And then the very last one, the link 3, is going to be the, what is this, LinkedIn? linkedin.com/frontend/mentor. And I'm just going to grab the short link real quick. And that should do it. All right, so that looks good. Let's make it smaller and everything should stack. Good. So the next thing I want to try is to just add a little bit of JavaScript so that when we put something in here and we click it, right now it just submits to the page, but we're going to use JavaScript to validate, and if we don't put anything in it and we click, or it's not a valid URL, we're going to show a little message down here. All right, so we'll get to that next.